There was recently a CBS News poll claiming that Trump has a positive approval rating in his energetic opening weeks. I don't know what energy they saw, but apparently that's the headline. And even though they call it a positive approval rating, it's still, as it has never been during his entire first term either, been above 50%. But let's look at a few of the questions in this poll. Is he doing what he promised in his campaign? 70% say yes, 30% say no. His overall job approval rating? They say 53%, 47% say disapprove. Which right off the bat makes you wonder who they're actually surveying, because this was only 2,000 people. And after prices already going up, people being laid off, being denied bonuses, the president threatening war with multiple countries, and him openly admitting he wishes to commit a war crime and move 2 million people out of their homeland, as well as deporting thousands of innocent civilians to Gitmo, again, I'd love to know who they're surveying that 53% of people approve of it. Also, here's an interesting thing. 54% of people in this survey apparently approve of what he's doing over in the Middle East. So 54% of people say they approve of his message that he said he was going to level Gaza to the ground, right? Then why in their next question when they say, would the US taking over Gaza be a good idea, only 13% of people said that? How do you have a 54% approval rating of the Middle East when only 13% of people said what you're doing was a good idea? That math isn't mathing. And also, this one actually does follow a trend that makes sense. 66% of people say he's not doing enough on lowering prices. I don't know who these 31% of people are who's saying he's doing the right amount, since he's done absolutely nothing. Currently, the only thing he's done is implement some tariffs, which have caused prices to go up. So how is that the right amount in lowering prices? But also, they asked people, how much influence over the government operations do you think Alonia Muskrat should have? And unsurprisingly, the Republicans' majority said a lot or some, and most of the blue said no, keep his hands off. Which you know would make sense because he is a billionaire with a conflict of interest, and he is not an elected official. Actually, as it's been pointed out, he and his team are at the Department of Education canceling grants and contracts, which is illegal. And even members of Congress have said it's not legal, and they know it's not legal, but they're doing it anyway. Yet these people still want it to continue, right? I wanted to clarify this by going to something I actually trust, which would be a recent Pew Research poll from only a few days ago, where they show that his approval rating is not over the 50% mark, as CBS tried to claim, but actually his approval rating is closer to 47% with a 51% disapproval rating, with only 9% of people saying they approve of all of his policies. And they point out that nearly half of adults say they support only a few or none of his plans. However, this 47% approval rating is higher today than it was at the beginning of his first term, which is weird. Before he left the first time, his approval rating fell to 29%. I expect that to happen again on an even bigger scale if the media is honest, which is a big if. But if you take a quick look at how this breaks down, it's specifically among party lines where the Republicans and the Conservatives all say they approve of everything he's doing and the Democrats don't. But among the other demographics from education, age, etc., you'll notice something very interesting and pretty straightforward. As you would totally expect, Trump's ratings are more positive among men, white adults, and people 50 years and older or a high school diploma or less. Remember,
I love the poorly educated.
And his ratings are more negative among women, black adults, Hispanic adults, people under 50, and people with a college degree or higher. In other words, you're more likely to oppose this fascist regime if you're a woman, if you're black, if you're one of the marginalized community, if you're young, or if you're intelligent. Yeah, that checks out. So before you go seeing flashy little headlines like this over the next few centuries, I would suggest you take a step back and look at the individual numbers, as well as who they're surveying. To make a long story short, the media is going to continue sugarcoating this turd and forcing it down our throats.